Of course, the three-point shooting tailed off, and the Mavericks end up making a run with their three-point shooting. It's just bad basketball we've seen over these playoffs, in my opinion. I can't really call it all bad basketball. It's all bad playoff basketball. There's a difference. This stuff that we're seeing right now should be stuff we see in the regular season. But playoff basketball and the conference finals, going into the finals, we should not be seeing blowouts. Every game should be competitive because there's so much on the line. And we can't point to the players and say the players are just quitting and not giving it their all, because that can't be the reason. You know how hard it is to get an NBA title and then alone just make it to the playoffs, but to get a chance to make it to a finals, and you would just take it nonchalant and just, take it every other game and shoot good every other game. It can't be that way. There's an underlining issue with why these playoffs are sucking so bad and why we continue to get blowouts after every other game. There's got to be an underlining issue. There's a couple of underlining issues. Automatically, we have to put those issues in a nice little sequence of how it starts to get to where we are today. And I have to start from the game changing, transitioning from inside out to now outside, period. The whole NBA game has turned to a perimeter shooting game. A perimeter shooting game that has made the NBA soft, in my opinion.
I said you soft, and I called you soft. I spell it. S-O-F capital T. Soft.
Exactly that. The NBA has become soft. It's supposed to be a physical contact sport. And now it has become less contact because everybody's shooting the three-point shot. Everybody's settling. I'm going to use the word settling for the three-point shot. You see superstars that got all the handles and they dibby, and they bounce out to that double step out to that James Harden who started all that traveling step, three-point shooting shot. And everybody's doing it, and everybody's stacking their teams for the three-point shot because how Golden State can shoot the three. The three-point disparity in all these blowouts have been the difference between most of these blowouts. And when it's not the three-point line, it's perimeter shooting, period. If one team is shooting the perimeter shot at a higher clip than the other team to where the other team's shots are not falling, then you get a blowout. Now you would go, okay, well, there's other ways of scoring. Why are we getting a blowout just from the perimeter? That's what I'm talking about, why the game has changed from inside to out, because the game is not played in the paint anymore. The game is played on the perimeter now. In the paint back in the 80s and 90s, we got competitive basketball because the ball was in the paint the majority of the time. And you had to win right there. I mean, that was the game plan from start to finish. And most of the teams that won the championship back in those days had star big men to score in the paint and rebound for them. And then you look at the score discrepancy or disparity, whichever one you want to call it. Look at the scores of the games today. 120, 130, 110 to 130 points. Back then, when the game was played in the paint, we're looking at 85 to 90 points. A defensive struggle. I remember the NBA being this way. You can play that perimeter game pretty much. If you're like back in the day, the Phoenix Suns was always a three-point shooting team, but they played that all the way through the regular season. When they got to the playoffs, round one, they had that same style of play, exciting, and they won them the round ones. But when you got to round 2 and 3, they didn't have an offensive half-court game. They got bounced out the playoffs. Teams that got bounced out of the playoffs did not know how to have a slow-down half-court offense. You can't slow the ball down in the half-court offense shooting threes. Ball has to move around. Ball has to go down on the block first and give the big man the first opportunity to set up the three-point shot. That's a good three. Setting up the three-point shot from the inside out was a good three. Today's game has changed to now a good three is damn near half court, and that is ridiculous. That is a terrible shot to me every single time. I don't care how you spin it or who's shooting it. It's a terrible shot. But this is where we've come to. The game has transitioned from inside to outside now. And then you want to throw another caveat in there that's slowing the game down and making these blowouts go the way they're going. Referees and the physicality of the game is being kind of juggled up in the air like they don't know what's what. We don't know what a flagrant foul is anymore. Flagrant 2, we don't know what it looks like. All I know is back in the day, we used to see stuff where guys used to throw punches and get knocked on their butts deliberately, and it would be common fouls back then. Nowadays, we don't know what the heck is going on. So now guys are not so gung-ho on going into the paint and taking contact, because you're going to get either a foul or chippy foul or foul out of a game or whatever it may be. But the contact is the issue now as well. You don't want contact, so people stay on the perimeter because they don't want that contact. The game's been slowed down with all these looking at the replays and what's a foul, what's not a foul. It's just, it's a different game, and it's changed to a soft game to me. That's the difference of why we keep getting these blowouts. It's not the players that are just saying we're not going to play this night. It's the disparity in the three-point shooting, perimeter shooting, that cannot be sustained for a full game or a full series. You can't sustain 48%, 50% shooting from the three for 4 straight games in a 7-game series to put a team away. I've never seen it. Even Golden State doesn't shoot the three that good, and they're the best at it. So perimeter shooting has become our league. And I remember also back in the day when you had to find prospects around the dang world coming into the league, where you had some prospects that had skills like above the rim skills and just good dribbling skills, good basketball IQs and things of that nature. Now kids are just getting in the gym, shooting the ball from the 3-point line, and you can knock down threes. You'll make it to the NBA nowadays. It's crazy. It's a different game. And now it's coming to a full head, and all of our playoffs look like crap now. The 3-point shot has become the number one priority with teams. Look at all the teams that are going to be coming into the free agency offseason. In the offseason, they're going to be stacking their teams with more shooting. I'm hearing already Dallas needs to stack some more good shooters around Luka. We're hearing the Suns failed in 3-point shooting because they didn't have any 3-point shooting, so they need to rack up more 3-point shooters. It's all about shooting from the perimeter. When the game used to be controlled from the inside, and that inside presence would be more high percentage than shooting that 3-point shot on a daily every night. So that's my opinion. That's the difference in why the game has gone so dang soft and why we continue to get these blowouts during the NBA freaking playoffs. Incredible to me.